I'm excited to announce that I have booked a speaking engagement, so I need you to save the date for March 11th, 2025. AffiniPay's legal brands are bringing together the top industry leaders for a half-day virtual event, and you are invited. Look into the future of the business of law with expert insights on financial wellness, payments, and workplace transformation. The afternoon is hosted by Nikki Black, and you're going to earn 1 hour of CLE credit for free. I'll leave the link to register in the show notes below. Welcome back to the podcast. Have you ever looked at other law firms and wondered why they seem to be making more money while working less? I'll tell you the secret isn't magic, it's metrics. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 most important numbers that separate struggling firms from successful ones. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly which numbers to track and how to use them to boost your firm's performance. Welcome to your Profitable Law Firm podcast. I'm Kelley Brubaker, your dedicated host, passionate about empowering law firm owners. Let's dive into the hidden strategies that lead to overflowing profits, scaled growth, and thriving lives. This is where overwhelm transforms into confidence, enabling you to create and enjoy your dream firm and your dream life. So let me start with a story. Last summer, I worked with a law firm that was bringing in over $2 million in revenue. And the partners thought that they were doing great. I mean, after all, that's a lot of money, right? But when we dug into their numbers, we discovered that they were barely breaking even. They weren't tracking the right metrics. So they had no idea that they were in trouble until it was almost too late. Think about it this way. Running a law firm without tracking key metrics is like driving a car without a dashboard. And sure, you might reach your destination, but you won't know if you're about to run out of gas, if the engine's overheating, or if you're going too fast. Your firm's metrics are your business dashboard. They tell you what's working, what's not, and when you need to make changes. So let's talk about some metrics. Let's start with one of the most important numbers, revenue per attorney. And this is simply your total revenue divided by the number of attorneys in your firm. For example, if your firm brings in $1 million and you have 4 attorneys, your return per attorney is $250,000. Now, why does this matter? Because it shows you how productive each attorney is on average. Most successful small to mid-sized firms aim for an RPA of at least $350,000. If your number is lower, it could mean your attorneys are not billing enough hours, your rates are too low, or you have efficiency problems. I once worked with a firm that increased their RPA from $275,000 to $425,000 in just 1 year. How do they do it? They raised their rates by 15%, improved their collection procedures, and stopped taking low-value cases. The result was a huge jump in profitability without working more hours. The second key metric is utilization rate. This shows what percentage of your attorney's available work time actually gets billed to clients. To calculate it, divide the total billable hours by the total available hours. For example, if your attorneys work 40 hours a week or about 2,000 hours a year, and they bill 1,400 hours, then your utilization rate is 70%. Top performing firms typically maintain a utilization rate between 75% and 85%, but I caution you that the range difference is the more a firm expects the associates to do networking and business development, then the lower percentage is an appropriate target for your firm. Now, low utilization might also mean that your attorneys are spending too much time on admin tasks or that you don't have enough client work to keep everyone busy. Either way, it's a red flag that needs your attention. One firm I advised discovered their utilization rate was only 55%. We found that their attorneys were spending hours each day on admin tasks that could have been handled by support staff. By hiring one additional paralegal, they freed up enough attorney time to increase their utilization rate to 78%. which translated to over $300,000 in additional revenue. The third metric is one that many firms overlook, but it's absolutely crucial: realization rate. This measures the percentage of your billable work that actually gets paid. To calculate this, divide the amount collected by the amount billed. For instance, if you bill your clients for $200,000 worth of work, but only collect $160,000, your realization rate is 80%. The average law firm has a realization rate around 85%, but top performers can push this closer to 95%. Low realization could be caused by several factors: clients disputing their bills, offering too many discounts, poor billing practices, or taking on clients who cannot afford your services. By tracking this number, you can identify these issues and fix them. One of my clients discovered their realization rate was only 72%. After investigating, we found that they were not sending bills promptly and were not ever following up on overdue payments. By implementing a more consistent billing schedule and a clear collections process, they raised their realization rate to 88% within 6 months, which meant they collected an additional $192,000 that year. The fourth metric cuts right to the heart of your firm's success: profit per partner. This is simply your firm's net profit divided by the number of partners. This number tells you the truth about how well your firm is really doing. Many firms focus on revenue, but revenue does not tell the whole story. You can have high revenue, but also have high expenses, which leaves you with very little profit. What matters is how much money is left over after all the expenses are paid. The average profit per partner varies widely by firm size and by practice area, but as a general rule, it should be at least 40% of your revenue per attorney. So if your RPA is $400,000, your profit per partner should be at least $160,000. I worked with a firm where the partners were shocked to discover their profit per partner was only $120,000, despite having an RPA of $500,000. The problem? Bloated expenses, especially in office space and support staff. By right-sizing their operations, they were able to increase their profit per partner to $225,000 within a year. The final metric that I want to talk about today is one that too few law firms track: client acquisition cost. It's also referred to as CAC or CAC. This measures how much you spend on marketing and sales to acquire each new client. To calculate it, divide your total marketing and sales expenses by the number of new clients acquired in the same period. For example, if you spend $50,000 on marketing in 1 year, and in that same year bring in 100 new clients, your CAC is $500 per client. This number helps you determine if your marketing efforts are effective and profitable. The ideal CAC varies by practice area and the value of your cases. As a general rule, your CAC should be no more than 20% of the average revenue you generate from one client. So if your average client brings in $10,000, your CAC should be $2,000 or less. I worked with a firm that was spending $2,500 to acquire clients that only generated $5,000 in revenue on average. And it was no wonder why they were struggling. We refocused their marketing efforts on higher value cases and more efficient channels, which reduced their CAC to $1,200 while increasing their average client value to $8,500. These metrics do not exist in isolation. They work together to tell a complete story of your firm's financial health. For example, you might have a high utilization rate, but if your realization rate is low, you're basically working for free. Or you might have a good profit per partner, but if your client acquisition cost is too high, your profits could disappear as you try to grow. The most successful firms track all 5 of these metrics and understand how they influence each other. They use this knowledge to make strategic decisions about everything from hiring to marketing to which cases they take. Now that you know which metrics matter most, how do you start tracking them? Here's a few simple steps. First, set up a basic spreadsheet.
And you don't need a fancy software to get started with this. A simple Excel or Google sheet will do. Create columns for each metric and rows for each month. Even better yet, if you have someone who helps you with your bookkeeping, ask if they will help assist you with this task. The next step is to gather your data. You'll need your financial information, time records, client intake numbers, and marketing expenses. Most of this should be available in your accounting system and your practice management software. Next, schedule a monthly review. Block out about an hour each month to calculate your metrics and analyze the results. Look for trends, identify problems, and celebrate improvements. And here's one tip: do not try to fix everything at once. Pick one metric that needs the most improvement and focus on that one first. Once you see progress there, move on to the next one. Firms that track these metrics have a huge advantage over those that don't. They can make decisions based on facts, not vibes or gut feelings. They can spot problems before they become a crisis. And they can identify opportunities for growth and improvement that other firms miss. I've seen this play out countless times in my work. The firms that embrace metrics consistently outperform those that don't. They grow faster, make more money, and experience less stress, all because they know their numbers. So think about it this way: if you were seriously ill, would you want your doctor to guess at your treatment, or would you want them to run tests, measure your vital signs, and make decisions based on the data? Your firm deserves the same level of care and attention. Today, I've covered the 5 most critical metrics for law firm success. There's actually more that top performing firms track regularly. And to help you get started, I've created a checklist that includes formulas for calculating each one. To get your free copy, I'll leave a link in the show notes below. This checklist has helped hundreds of law firms transform their financial performance, and it can do the same for you. Remember, what gets measured gets managed. By tracking these key metrics, you're taking the first step toward a more profitable, efficient, and successful law firm. Are you curious about working with me and my firm, Profit Scale Thrive? Running a successful law firm requires more than just legal expertise. It demands financial acumen, strategic planning, and the ability to make informed decisions. My accounting firm, Profit Scale Thrive, supports law firms in several different ways designed to elevate your law firm's financial performance and set you on the path to sustainable growth. If you're curious to learn more, check out our website at profitscalethrive.com. If you have any questions about today's episode, please let me know by commenting below. And if you know someone who might need to hear this information, please share this episode with them. Be sure to follow and subscribe to get notifications for future episodes. Did you enjoy this episode? Please consider leaving a review. And before I go, remember, profit is something you intentionally plan for in the beginning. It is not a potential bonus at the end of the year. Thanks and have a great day.